We are all so busy these days, and we're always looking for helpful tips and advice on how to find a better work-life balance. We all have to earn a living and pay the bills, but are you doing enough to look after yourself and your health at the same time? Now, many of us prioritise careers and work, and we're slaving over our computers and mobiles all the time. But does this make you cut corners on your diet, exercise or sleep? I'm Dr. Ben Sinclair, and welcome to Health versus Wealth with Dr. Ben. Our guests share their life experiences and we discuss their challenges in their health and their wealth. I hope their experiences will help you with your life and health. I'm so pleased to have Libby Lawlor, a teenager, on the show today. You're one of our youngest guests so far. Yeah. Welcome to the show, Libby.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, you are 18, you're a student, you're living in Birmingham. Can you tell us a little bit about your life as a student?
Yeah, so I've just completed my first year at university.
Okay.
So that completed in April. So since then, I've not really been up to much academically, but, you know, got all my grades there and then moved out of the uni accommodation that I was living at in June. And I've just recently moved into a house with a few of my friends.
Okay, how did you find that?
That was exciting. We haven't really fully moved in yet because a few of us live across the country and stuff like that. So It's not really homely yet. But come the end of August, start of September, it will be. But it's different because obviously it's not as high security as my accommodation was before. It's just a house on a road. So it's like now it's more responsibility and it's like, okay, make sure all the doors are locked before we leave. Make sure your windows are closed. Make sure you have your key. So it's like half adult life, but also it's no responsibility because you can just go in, go out whenever you want, come in the middle of the night if you need to after a night out, you know. Yeah. Student life still.
Yeah, and this is the first time that you've lived away from home, is that right?
Yeah, I've been living in Coventry all my life with my family, obviously, and then last September I moved over to Birmingham. It's not far, but it's still far away enough for me to have like a separate life, which I liked, close enough to home to stay, you know, near the family. So I enjoyed that, yeah.
Brilliant. And I know we have a shared passion for rugby.
Yes.
Fantastic. My claim to fame is that my grandfather played for Scotland.
I have no claim to fame.
I was not as good as he was, but it's great to hear that you enjoy rugby as well. Are you looking forward to the next season?
I am, yeah, because I never played contact until this year. We weren't really allowed, being girls. There wasn't as many of us, you know, it wasn't really as... It was more taboo to play contact as a girl. So when I heard that the opportunity was, you know, arisen to play in contact within university, I was like, oh, that's great. I'll definitely have a go at it. I've always wanted to play it, you know, get all my stress out and all that. That's how I do it. And then I've obviously been learning it. It's a new skill and I've actually come to really love it. Like, it's not even the social side of it that I like. I actually just enjoy the playing of it. And, you know, come next year, it'll be nice to play in the league again with all the different teams and go travel the country again with the team. It's just, yeah, great. I'm really enjoying it.
Have you recovered from any injuries you got from last season?
Yeah, so February time I actually played we played an away game in Coventry. Technically I'm home and away in that one. And I got 2 injuries that one match. One girl stood completely on my foot and it ended up being soft tissue damage. Yikes. But I just carried on. I was like hobbling away and almost like crying. I was like, my nan's watching me. I can't walk off the pitch.
Don't let them see me bleed.
Don't let them see me. So I was just hobbling and continued. Wow. And then another one, we tackled a girl. There was 2 of us. We managed to get her down. She was quite tall. So I'm only 5'4". She was about 6 foot. I was like, uh-oh. And she landed oddly on my arm. So as I got back out, I was like, oh, that felt a bit weird. Looked up, there was a big lump about 1 inch out. Ooh. I thought I'd broken it, but it completely gone. I was all fine.
It settled down.
Had to go to A&E. But yeah, other than that, no, not really anything else. Someone stood again on the same foot. So other than
People keep standing on you, don't they?
Yeah, that's a common thing in rugby. I think just foot placement. Yeah. It's always. I think it's the worst thing. Feet, hands,
Absolutely.
Always just.
You got to keep them in, don't you?
You got to kind of just put yourself into a little ball and just not your limbs out, really. Yeah.
Fantastic. And you know, you're studying media production. Yeah. You know, you love rugby. Mm-hmm. How tough is it for you to live a healthy lifestyle as a student these days?
Quite difficult. I feel like at the start of university, obviously, I had my family prep everything for me. They're like, okay, well, you've got all this money, you've got this, because it was just I've just turned 18 a couple of weeks before, so I still had my money from from then, so I was like, oh, I have enough money to go do this, go out, go experience here. I've got enough food to make these meals. I'll make these meals. I did do some cooking beforehand when I was in sixth form and that for my family. So like I knew how to make meals, but
That's
it was
useful.
just it was just the actual idea of having to make the meal every night and having to think of what to make. So then I probably got a bit lazy around Christmas time. You start delving into the takeaways because you find out it's a new city, so I find out all these new places, all
There's
these new
so many to
foods.
try, aren't there?
Oh my god,
And the
Birmingham's
curries
full.
are amazing, aren't they?
I've not tried one yet.
Oh wow.
I've not. Oh no, I have tried one and it was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I feel like maintaining it was a bit difficult towards the middle because obviously Christmas time you're more likely to indulge anyway.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, let me go do this. Let me try this, and then with all the student finance and stuff, I just kept getting more money, and I was like, well, let's just go out and eat. Let's just go do this.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Have you ever had to budget before with your food?
Not strictly. It would just be like, I have this much, I'll try, but if I don't, then I feel like I have a good support system around me, so like I wouldn't purposefully be like, oh, I'm just gonna let them give me money. I hate doing that. I hate owing people money and stuff like that. I'm guilty. But if it came to it, if I knew that I'd have to ask, then I wouldn't be. I'd know that there'd be money somewhere. But no, I wouldn't say strictly budgeting. I'd say I'd just kind of keep it in the back of my mind.
And where do you think the money goes at the moment?
At this moment in time, petrol.
Okay, so you're driving.
They're driving now.
Okay, running a car.
Yeah, so that's the main thing. Petrol's not really cheap in Birmingham either, so it's like trying to find somewhere.
It's one of the most expensive places in the country, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's great. I'm like, oh, okay, there goes my money again. But no, petrol, and then maybe just actually doing things. I have to keep myself busy at the minute because obviously university, so it's like, well, what do I do? Where do I go? I'll go have something to eat, or I'll go there. There's not really, stuff like that. And when I'm at the house as well, obviously we all live there. We need to eat, so food shops too.
Yeah.
So it's not really been.
Much,
food has gone up a lot. I saw a packet of mini rolls the other day for like £3-4. It's ridiculous.
So, tell me about your typical day eating, because I think that's really interesting. The choices that we make we become the things that we regularly do.
Yeah.
So, suppose you're in season and you're training for rugby. What's your typical day's sort of eating look like as a student? What would you start with?
Oh, it depends what kind. I think it depends on the day.
Okay.
If it was a match day, I would probably I'd wake up, get ready, whatever. If we were going away, I have less time to get ready, so I'd just get up. I'd grab maybe a banana, just some energy, and then a packet of crisps for the coach, because obviously sometimes it'd be up to 3-4 hours just traveling there, so you'd need stuff for like a lunch as well. I'd mainly just have. At the time, I didn't really eat as much as I do now. But I had maybe vitamin C tablets and stuff like that as well, just energy boost. Okay. My nan's a very big health. Oh, well, my house, she just prioritizes me, so I have tons of vitamins that I have to take every day.
So you get your vitamins. That's great.
Vitamin C especially, yeah.
But and that's great for everything, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And then I'd have just water. I wouldn't really eat much on match days, which is bad.
Maybe a rugby day might not be a typical sort of day to choose. What about your average? Let's say Monday. What would you eat for breakfast on a Monday? You're going off to.
I'm going to uni. Well, I'd have maybe some toast. I'd probably have a couple of slices of toast before university. Yeah. And then for lunch, usually in university for lunch, we'd just go to the canteen or something if it's easier. Yeah, and I've heard that you do have a particular sort of favourite is chocolate cornflake clusters. Is that true? I love chocolate cornflake clusters. Your friends have shopped you. Yeah, I absolutely love them. They're just so good. Be honest, how many days a week might you eat the chocolate? Oh, I don't. To be fair, I don't buy them often, but if I see them, I want them. I'm like, yeah. How much do they cost? Couple of pounds, maybe for a box in the co-op, maybe £2.50. So sometimes I'm like, oh, it's not worth it. I will just eat them in 3 minutes. Yeah. But no. So they're quite pricey, aren't they? They are quite pricey. What would you put some milk in with that? Or? Oh no, it's just. Have you had Rice Krispie cakes and stuff like that? Yeah. It's like that, but just cornflakes instead. So it's literally like you get brownies, you get flapjack. It's just literally, it's not meant to be a breakfast. It is an awful choice. So this is a snack. This is a snack. Okay, I know what you're talking about now. The little blocks. Yeah, they're so good. And they are so addictive, aren't they? They are delicious. They've got all the lovely stuff in them, the sugar, the taste. Yeah. Fantastic. And do you tend to eat on the run?
Are you kind of dashing out the door and grabbing something like that?
Sometimes yes, but most of the time I do prioritize being full, because I feel like sometimes if I'm out and I'm hungry, I won't be able to go, and if I don't have enough time to eat, then I'll be like dying inside. You know, I'll be like, oh my god, I'm so hungry, I can't think of anything else. So I think it really depends on what I'm doing that day. If I'm going shopping with my family, I'll definitely won't eat before. So then I'll be like, guys, let's not shop anymore. Let's go eat.
So you're helping your family to help you to some nice food while you're out.
Yeah, I'm like, guys, let's not shop for clothes anymore. I don't need clothes. It's like, I need to be fed.
It's always nice when your family can look after you a bit when you come back.
No, exactly, yeah.
And, do you enjoy home cooking?
Yeah, I do. I really love I like my family cooking for me, or me cooking for my family. My nan's cooking especially is my favourite, but she makes all sorts. Yesterday I tried a brand new jam sponge. It was probably one of the best cakes I've ever eaten. But yeah.
So I mean, what I'm hearing is you're quite focused when you're in uni, you know, and you've got a busy working week.
Yeah.
But time is a challenge.
Yeah, definitely. Because with the Monday, like you said, what happened in the second semester was I'd have the morning off, so I'd have breakfast and I'd have lunch. Lunch probably be like maybe pasta or just a sandwich and some crisps, you know, something easy if I had work to do in the morning. But then I'd do uni from about 2 p.m. until 7. My issue was from 7 to 9, I then had rugby training, but the rugby training was at least a half an hour drive away. So it would be the challenge of getting to and from the other side of Birmingham, getting ready, eating. So luckily my flatmate would cook for us. She was really good with that. But
you had to have a car to do rugby then, pretty much?
Well, I had to get Ubers.
Oh, wow.
Ubers and Ubers and Ubers, because I didn't have the car until I had the house, because there was nowhere to park at the start.
Quite a chunk of your budget must go on rugby then. You really love it.
Yeah, so it was £120 just to be a member.
Well,
yeah, that was a lot.
Okay. It's more than I was a student.
Yeah, it was a lot of money just to join the club. But then that includes all your travel, all your uniform, back. And Ubers were the main issue. I'm part of the committee now for next year, and we did bring that up in the chat. We were like, you know, we can't afford to be taking these £12 Ubers there and back.
Yeah. It sounds like you're very dedicated to do your rugby. When you're training, you know, you're doing physical exercise and stuff. Do you ever get any advice or coaching on nutrition with that?
No, not as much as I thought I would. I feel like it's more about performance. So I feel like with our coaching, especially last year, it was, you know, they didn't care what we ate, what we did, if we went out drinking and stuff like. Because I feel like rugby is very much a drinking sport. I'm not really much for drinking myself, but it's very much a party kind of social environment. I don't know if you knew that as well. You know, it's very much they're wild.
Sports clubs are trying to outdo each other.
So I feel like with nutrition, it's not as much what you're putting into your body, but it's just how you're performing.
Okay, interesting.
Especially with the women as well. Like men are usually more, but women, we come in all shapes, sizes. So it's, you know, you can't exactly be like, you're not eating enough veg, you're not doing that, because I think people would start having an issue. But no, I don't think there's never been a nutritional guide for me.
Yeah, I mean, because we're seeing, you know, sports people are becoming more and more professional about every aspect. And you know, we run a private health clinic, and we actually deal with sports people, and often, you know, we're actually really focusing on nutrition. So there may be some things that you could do quite simply that might really help you with your sort of concentration, your performance in uni, and also your performance on the pitch. And they might even save you money, and they could even improve your, you know, your sort of physical stature. Yeah. You might pack a bigger punch, you know, and
that's
be faster.
Fine by me.
You know, so
I'd like to be faster.
Because I used to be really fast, but I was really short when I played rugby, so I couldn't be tackled. But at the same time, you know, I used to get crunched by very big people.
Absolutely, just smashed up.
Yeah, so I gave up after I injured myself too many times. You mentioned to me when we were talking earlier that you also had a challenge with like a phobia in your past, and I was really interested to find out how that affects your choices and how you live. Yeah,
so I've been suffering with emetophobia for about 12, 13 years, but I didn't really knew I had it. Like I never knew.
Fear of vomiting, right?
It's fear of vomiting, and I feel like it's fear of like choking as well. Like it's a kind of like struggling to breathe, struggling to, you know, be sick and all that kind of stuff.
That horrible feeling that you get.
I don't think like it really affected me until about 6-7 years ago, when I'd realised, I haven't actually been sick in so long. It's like the build up of not being sick. I feel like that just made it worse.
Because then you're thinking, when is it?
When I am going to be sick, am I gonna die? Like that's how bad it got at some point. So I'd be in hysterics. I remember I got a concussion once. Not from rugby,
Yeah.
just stupidity.
Yeah, it
But,
happens off the pitch as well. doesn't
Yeah,
it?
no, yeah, exactly. It was actually
Yeah.
at the rugby field. It just wasn't from rugby. And then
Yeah.
the next day, I just remember I was just on the floor just crying. I couldn't. I was like, I can't be sick. I can't be sick. I feel like it's gotten better in the last year since coming to uni, because obviously you're surrounded by people who are just always sick, like from alcohol or just people in the street or going out. But that really was difficult with food. I'd be, if I go abroad, I'd never eat like red meat or anything like that. I'd barely eat chicken. I'm like strictly vegetarian on holidays, because just in case, what if I get food poisoning, whatever that happens, if I'm on a trip, I'd probably I'd only stick to certain things that I like, which would be like chicken and chips, because I know it's safe. You cut the chicken open all the time. I still do it now. The chicken's not, I'd rather eat a burnt piece of food than an undercooked piece of food. I never eat sushi, because even though it's safe for you, and same with steak, I've never eaten steak. Because it's practically still bleeding, so that scares me, but also because it's just, I get scared I'd choke on it. So I feel like with food choices, certain things I would not go to at all, just because it might make me feel ill, or it might, affect me.
And I think in the past you had a scare with food poisoning or something
I
like
did
that. What
last
happened?
year. So last year I was working at my old job. It was a chicken van, so we used to make fried chicken and chips. We actually knew the people who owned it, so it was like me and my two best friends who got to work together. So the actual working part of it was really enjoyable. We just take the orders, make the chicken, make the chips, and the halloumi, whatever. We mainly did fried chicken and chips. That was the main thing. But then with that, obviously, we'd get food for free. We were cooking it all day, so if we wanted to put a bit aside for ourselves for some lunch, we would.
With the job.
Yeah, exactly. We'd get hot honey fries, or we'd get a load of chicken, or we can have some halloumi. So
my mouth is watering.
it was delicious, to be fair, especially with all the rubs and stuff. But I don't know what had happened that day. Maybe a bit the chicken was dodgy or something like that. But I ate a piece, and then a few hours later, I wasn't feeling good. And we were tidying up, we were cleaning up, and obviously the thick smell of like oil and grease as well. It wasn't helping.
Sets you off.
But I was like, I need to go home right now. I had to call my manager, be like, I have to go home. I got back and I just wasn't well. But because I hadn't been sick since 2011, I was like, my body wouldn't let me be sick. So I'd get the feeling and I'd be crying, and then I'd get the heave, and then it'd just stop. So it was basically like torture, because at that point I was like, I just want it out, but then it was just like continuous for hours and hours. So it was technically a douse of food poisoning, but my body wouldn't physically allow me to like let the food out of me. So it was awful. That was bad. But since then, I then just didn't. I think I like reduced my eating. I used to eat about a meal a day, just out of fear, because it was only chicken and chips. That was my favorite food. So then I thought, if I wasn't safe with that, what am I safe with? All that stuff. So that was about 6 months of not really eating much.
And I think you lost a significant amount of weight over that
Yeah,
time,
I was
didn't
both
you?
my heaviest weight and my lightest weight as an adult last year. So my heaviest, I was probably roughly almost 14 stone. I was quite large. But then also I went down. So this was in the June. And then by the October, I was about 9-10 stone. So it was quite a drastic weight loss from that. But then I feel like my appetite got better during the Christmas period, which was thankful, but also I'm like, oh, now. But yeah, no, I was definitely in a bad health state last year.
It sounds like a year of extremes.
I didn't really realise, though, until it was already done. Everyone would be like, wow, you've lost a lot of weight. And I'd be like, oh, I didn't even notice. I just got into the habit of not eating much. My appetite was completely gone for about 6 months. And then with rugby as well, when I started rugby, that was 2-3 months of just pure exercise and one meal a day. It was like, it was crazy.
Now, Libby, we're talking health versus wealth here.
Mm-hmm.
So as a student, your wealth is significantly restricted, much more than some of my other guests.
Yeah.
Could you share with us some of the numbers on about the budget that you're having to live to?
Yeah, so I get a student loan from the university, which is a maintenance loan of about £9,900 for the year, because I'm on the lowest wage thing of my family, allowance and stuff. So with that, I get roughly £3,300 every few months, starting October, January, then April. And out of that, I'd have to pay my rent immediately for the accommodation. So that was about £2,000. So already that's 2/3 of it gone. then I'd have to live off the £1,000, 1,200 roughly, for the next few months until obviously my next load came in. But that included, actual living costs as well. So that would be Ubers to and from rugby, like we were talking about. That would be my weekly budget for shopping, which is about £25-30. And that would just be like, going out or, social life as well. Trains home, here, there. But yeah, definitely it really, it was quite difficult at the start to budget because obviously I've never seen so much money in my life in a bank account. So obviously my financial decisions weren't the best, but yeah.
So I think it'd be really interesting to perhaps think about some solutions that might help you go into the new year, the new season, if you're willing to think about these things.
Yeah, of course.
And because what we often find is that there's a few tips and tricks that might help. I'm sure the listeners would identify with the challenges that you've had. We've all had big fluctuations in weight, and you've got a phobia which a lot of us can relate to. I've got a phobia of balloons bursting. It's about the only thing I'm fearful of, but it will literally set me on edge if there are balloons in a room. I've done all kinds of things, but I really struggle to be around that. Yeah. So I totally relate to that. And I think a couple of things that come to mind. One is that if you're wanting to maintain your physical stature on the pitch and also not to get hungry, you might need to eat more protein in the morning. Yeah. But you've interestingly told me that you don't like chicken, you don't like particularly steak, and they're good sources of. They present challenges for you. So I was going to say whether you'd be willing to swap your occasional chocolate clusters or toast for some eggs in the morning.
Yeah, depends what kind of eggs.
Okay, so how do you like your eggs?
I'm more of a scrambled egg girl right now because it's mainly yolk tasting. I'm very much a yolk kind of person. I'm very, very picky when it comes to eggs. Like egg white does not please me at all. But then some days I'll eat it, some days I won't. I feel like my whole life, obviously, with the emetophobia as well, I have been a really picky eater. Yeah. And egg white's just been one of them. Yeah.
So if you do scrambled, you can kind of, it's more yolky.
Yeah, exactly. It can be a different texture as well. So yeah, I feel like scrambled egg.
I did a bit of research before you came on, and you can get 12 eggs at Tesco's for £2.65.
That's good.
So if you had, let's say, 2 a day, that would last you for six days for breakfast. So, and the evidence is that if you eat protein and a bit more fat in the morning, you actually, you don't get hungry. But also you're burning off that protein, you're feeding your body much more nutrient-rich stuff than your chocolate clusters, which actually make you crave more sugar and make your mood plummet. Yeah. So proteins and fats tend to make us more stable, and it might really help you to then go into those trainings with a better sort of physical makeup. Yeah. As one change, I think that might be the thing I would say on the nutrition side. Start with some protein for breakfast. So and you might, I don't know, do you like live yogurt or yogurt?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really eat yogurt too often, but I do like a bit of Greek yogurt, natural yogurt,
Greek yogurt,
and
excellent.
Strawberry flavoured, anything really.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, yogurt is a good source of protein and fat. It also has bacteria, if you get the live stuff, that really help your gut. And if you help your gut to work better, your brain works better, your mood works better, and actually the gut-brain link is really strong. So if we can improve your gut microbiome, the bacteria that you carry, you'll heal faster, you'll recover faster, you won't get sick.
That's good.
And that might help you not to worry so much about getting sick because you'd be stronger anyway. So you might try live natural yogurt, maybe with some honey. Yeah. As an alternative if you get bored of the eggs.
Yeah, I probably get bored of eggs quite easily.
Eventually, yeah. So, I mean, so there's just 2 things there that you might try. And I think it'd be great to hear how you'd got on if we bring you back and see how you've got on with just doing that as one simple intervention that might actually help you with coping with things better, but not breaking the bank. Yeah. Because your chocolate custers, how much do they cost?
Probably between £2 and £3.
Yeah.
Probably
so actually, and they probably wouldn't last you 6 breakfasts.
They last me about 7 minutes.
Okay,
I counted it the other day.
Breakfast.
I counted that one.
There we go. So we're on to we're on a winner here, aren't we? So
Pretty much.
I reckon if you swapped your chocolate, I mean, I say everyone wants a snack occasionally. All right, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's what we do every day that becomes us. So I would say go for your eggs. Buy them in bulk if you can because they're cheaper.
Yeah.
And depending on your values, you might want to get some free range or just get lots of the barn eggs, whatever. But I think that might really help. The other thing I was going to ask you about just quickly is on the side of the phobia. We work in an integrated way, and I'd love to be able to offer you the chance to process that a little bit more. Have you ever worked on that in terms of sort of on the mental side,
like psychologically?
Yeah.
Well, I did study psychology at A-level, so I feel like that reopened it for me.
Yeah.
And we learnt about the different ways of sorting it out. You can go do your therapies, or you could do the hierarchical structure of it, where you work your way up and up. So we did do that a lot, and in the lessons, the teacher did speak to me about it. Because if we actually worked on real life cases, then it'd be much easier. So we did that. And we spoke about, well, what would your hierarchy be, and how would you sort it out, and how would you apply it? So I feel like when I did actually study that, it reopened it quite a bit. But working on it, I feel like it was just actually going out there and doing it. Like I haven't actually been sick, but I've been near people, or I've seen things and stuff like that. Especially with uni life and being in cities and stuff. I mean, you see it quite often, and I had my scares. You always have to scare, but this last year I feel like I've really improved.
You've desensitized yourself.
Yeah, like at the start of university, I remember I got a train home once because I felt a bit sick, like just at Freshers Week. Got a train straight home because I was like, I feel sick, I can't do this, I need my mum, I need that. But now I feel a bit sick, I know I can calm myself down. I've been looking online, I heard that charcoal helps or this helps, so I just do that or calm myself. But yeah,
fantastic. One final thought is box breathing. Have you heard about box breathing? It's where you imagine a box and you breathe in.
I've seen them. I'm rubbish at that.
Breathe out and then you hold. I am rubbish about this too, but I had a mentor and he said, look, you need to breathe more, so it can really help if you find yourself feeling like getting a little bit out of control, just to try some box breathing. And all you have to do is just take control of your breathing. You breathe in slowly through your nose, but then the key thing is to hold.
See, I think it's usually just the actual thought of me just breathing that calms me.
Yeah, that calms you down. But if you're if that isn't working, box breathing is another level. Yeah. And there's a little thing on YouTube called the Pranayama series where you can just and I just whip it up on my phone.
There they go across.
And they have nice relaxing music and that can work really well. So that's my final thought is try a bit of box breathing if you feel that that's overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's been fascinating talking to you today. I've
loved speaking to you. Yeah, thank you.
I've really enjoyed it, and I've relived a bit of my student memories.
It'll come back to you now.
It's all coming back to me. I would love to have you back.
Of course,
to talk about how you've got on, just maybe implementing this slightly different breakfast choice, setting yourself up for the day. You may come back, faster, better, stronger. There may be other things you might learn.
Like Hercules, might be extremely muscly.
Amazing. Fantastic. Well, look, Libby, thank you so much for coming on today, and I look forward to seeing how you've got on. So that's it for today. I hope my guest and I have helped you meet some of your health versus wealth challenges. Now, to hear more from me, Dr. Ben, why not subscribe on your usual podcast platform? And if you like my advice or you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can email me on podcast@drfinlays.co.uk. Anyway, I hope to see you again, but for now, it's goodbye from me, Dr. Ben.